Hello viewers, welcome to today's class. Today I am here to discuss few things about information technology and the supply chain. Comes under unit 5 of your course Supply Chain and Logistics Management. The key points to be learned today are the role of information technology in the supply chain IT framework. IT stands for information technology. The macro processes, that is customer relationship management, internal supply chain management, supplier relationship management, and transaction management foundation. And lastly, let us see future of IT in supply chain. We have already seen that the important drivers of the supply chain are facility, inventory, transportation, and information. So information is a key driver that serves as glue, that means binding material, an adhesive to create an integrated coordinated supply chain. Different stages of the supply chain should act in a coordinated manner so as to maximize the total supply chain profitability. For that, the binding material will be information. So this is that is information is very crucial to supply chain performance as it makes the supply chain visible to a manager. What is the meaning of visible to a manager? If information is not there, supposing, the manager will not come to know many of the things that are happening in the supply chain, the status of the supply chain. For example, how about the various costs associated with the inventory? If we come to manufacturing, how about the various allocation of various workers to particular machines? And if we come to transportation, routing, scheduling. Similarly, if we go to facility, the location, allocation, all these decisions need the information. If these data are not available, then manager may take the decisions, but that will be blindly. Hence we say information makes the supply chain visible to the manager. It will give the exact status of the supply chain at a particular moment to the manager, and also enables him to take right decision about other drivers. Other drivers, just now I mentioned, be it inventory, be it transportation, be it facility, pricing, sourcing, whatever. About every driver, information is the key factor. It provides the foundation on which supply chain processes execute transactions. We kept on telling that always the different owners of various stages should look at the supply chain in a holistic manner, in a global perspective. To have this global scope, thinking beyond the boundaries of the stages, need cross functioning data. So that is why information becomes more and more important when we think about global visualization of the supply chain. Uh, Say for example, we'll take one example for this is a supply chain wherein manufacturer is in the middle, and to the left he has got the supplier who supplies the material to him, and to the right he has got the retailer or the customer to whom he supplies the products. Now supposing manufacturer wants to uh, go for his production schedule, he has to plan his production schedule, then he should not only worry about his inventory, he should also take into consideration what is the inventory already present with the retailer, left out, not it sold, how much is there, that also he should consider. That is important, one important information for him. Also, how much the supplier takes the lead time, what is the replenishment lead time supplier is taking, this particular supplier is taking, that also should be considered, because based on that he has to decide his production schedule. So such a small thing needs so much of information beyond the boundaries of this particular stage. So like that, there are many such instances wherein the information beyond the boundaries or beyond the stages of the supply chain are needed. So we understood what is the role or the importance of information. Now, what are the desired characteristics of information? First is that it should be accurate. As far as possible, 100%. If not 100%, very near to that. Next, accessible in a timely manner. In the sense, if the information is accurate, it is not enough. It should be available timely. There should not be any delay. Today, some information is needed for taking some decision, and I am getting it tomorrow. It is of no use. Or else, the file has come in to my computer, but not possible to accessible. It's not opening, or the format is not being recognized by the operating system what I have, something like that. So accessible in a timely manner, must be of right kind. In the sense, I want a particular information, a big heap of information is sent to me. I have to select out of the needed one. It's just like selecting needle from a big stock of hay. Very difficult for human beings. Whereas the upgrade now, the technology is so much upgraded that the technology can do it through its search engine within some seconds or minutes. But for human beings, it becomes very difficult. The delay will be included because of that. So decision making hampers. So it should be of right kind as well. Now, the information is not very importantly needed just at each stage, but also at each phase. We have already seen that all the decisions that are taken in a supply chain can be divided into three phases: strategic or design phase, planning phase, operation phase. What are the activities that are coming under the scope of each one of the phases? Also, we have seen already in the first chapter. So, corresponding decision when we want to take, then also information plays important role. If we look at some of the companies who have used this driver very uh, efficiently and effectively, then the name of the company that uh, tops the list is Walmart. Walmart has become pioneer in capturing real-time data. It captures real-time data in the sense as and when it happens, as and when a particular sale happens. If you collect the data at that moment itself, then it's called real-time data. So when we call the retailer as the point of sale, because point of sale is the location where the sales takes place. So customer comes in and sales takes place at the retailer. So retailer is the point of sale. The data which you get at the retailer is almost the correct data about the demand. So you need to know the demand pattern, its nature, its variability, uncertainty associated with that, all of these. So this data captured, if kept there only, then also it is of no use. Has to be immediately transferred to the upstream stages through wholesaler, manufacturer, and then to the last tier, up to last tier supplier. At that moment itself, if it reaches, that is the best information technology that particular company is having. Walmart has succeeded in that. It collects the data, it analyzes it collaboratively, and then executes the information throughout the supply chain, and it sees that the last supplier also reaches at that moment itself. The information reaches the last level supplier also at that moment itself. So because of which all could take good decisions with respect to different drivers. It is not that manufacturer or the supplier will not take decisions about production or about the inventory levels based on their lower stage demand pattern, but they do those things based on point of sale data. There is difference between executing the things based on the demand which a particular stage gets from its lower stages, and doing the same execution on the other hand doing the same execution based on the demand which he or she gets from point of sale data. Anything done based on point of sale data is more accurate. Anything that is done based on the demand pattern kept by the lower stage is not that accurate. Guesswork also plays role there. So this is the speciality of Walmart and how it succeeded by using the information. So what are the different decisions that can be taken with respect to different drivers? It is given here, which we have already seen. Now information we understood. What should be its characteristics, its role, everything we understood. Where information technology plays its role? Let us see that. First of all, what is information technology? Hardware, software, and people who gather the information, who analyze it, and executes it. Put together, it is called as IT. Hardware, software, and people who gather the data, analyze the data, and execute them. So they capture and deliver the information needed to make the good decisions. They pass it on throughout the supply chain at the real time itself. So IT helps in planning, to start with planning, later on execution, decision making, everything is possible. Today you have something called decision support system, which will give you the entire data, entire analysis, and also gives you a list of possible decisions with the consequences. If you take a decision number one, what will be the consequences on time, on first on profit, then what are the costs involved, how about the time taken, productivity, everything. The second decision if you take, how about the consequences, what is the difference between first decision and second decision, and so on, like that. Such a thing is called decision support system. Now, effective use of IT in supply chain can have a significant impact on supply chain performance, time wise as well as cost wise. Consider a manufacturer of computer workstation and server. So he uses customer demand to set production schedules through IT system. If IT system was not there, the earlier scenario, before the installment of IT system, he used to only the information was there with the retailer. He could not pass it on immediately to the production person or to the inventory person. That means a supplier. So he could have passed it on, but with the passage of time there was much delay. By the time these people should have taken the decisions, so these people used to take decisions about the production and inventory levels based on their educated guess, all those things. So once IT system was installed and it enabled them to take the right decisions at the right time, it was observed that on analysis, with the half of the inventory compared to case 1 where there was no IT system, case 2 where there was IT system, in case 2 they found that the same productivity they could reach, same product availability they could reach, same profit they could generate at the half the inventory. In case 1, suppose the inventory was 100, in case 2 with IT system they could only have 50 units and they could run the same show. So this is the speciality of having IT system. So important takeaway is that relevant, accurate and timely information available throughout supply chain through IT installment allows IT, by installing IT, allows managers to make decisions that achieves optimized supply chain performance for individual stages as well as for total supply chain. So now let us see what is this supply chain IT framework. It helps a manager to understand how this information is utilized by various segments of IT. So all the processes that are coming under the purview of supply chain can be divided into 3 macro processes called as customer relationship management, supplier relationship management, and internal supply chain management. Customer relationship management deals with the processes that focus on downstream interactions between the enterprise and the customers. Here, enterprise, I meant the manufacturer. So, between the manufacturer and the downstream stages, the interactions, if takes place, those interactions come under CRM. Any interactions that take place between the enterprise and the upstream stages, manufacturer is in the middle, to the left you have supplier, we call it upstream for the manufacturer. So interactions between those two, that come under supplier. And what is this internal supply chain management? We already know SCM, right? How this is different? Processes that focus on internal operations within the enterprise. If we say SCM, its scope is very broad. It is beyond the stages, all the stages involved. Whereas ISCM means if you take a particular stage, particularly we consider here manufacturer, within that all the processes if considered, then it is internal supply chain management. Try to understand the difference between ISCM and SCM. Plus there's one more base foundation called transaction management foundation. I'll just show you the block diagram. Can you make out? See, SRM is there, ISCM is there, CRM is there. These things are also written in the similar fashion. For a manufacturer, a retailer or customer is on the right, so they should come on the right of this. For this manufacturer, supplier comes on the left. So here also better to have this on the left. And within the manufacturer also a number of transactions take place that come under this. And all these three have to be communicated so that they function fairly and smoothly. For that, this person is there, TMF. His job is to look after the proper functioning and communication between all these three people or the softwares. Why focus on macro processes? First, any manufacturer first should focus on internally all the transactions that take place within manufacturer itself, within production facility itself. Once all those processes are optimized, no more scope for optimization within the stage, then he looks at other stages beyond the boundaries. So entire supply chain, if you look at, if you analyze the processes happening outside your boundary also, very much needed, because some action taken at the neighboring stage will have reaction in your place. So that is why look outside also, other stages also, whose actions have effect on you. Goal should be to increase the total profitability. Any supply chain management should not result in zero sum game. In the sense, what is the meaning of zero sum game? Some gain happened in stage 1 should not have corresponding loss at stage 2. Then if you sum them up, plus 5 here, minus 5 here, it is 0. So no supply chain management should focus at zero sum. So always it should be a positive sum game. Suppose if you lost minus 5, you should gain plus 10 somewhere else. Then net gain is plus 5. So that this can happen if and only if focus is on improving overall profitability. The meaning of surplus I already told you, profit. So to increase it effectively, they must expand their scope beyond their enterprise, and always think whenever they take the decisions, they should think about the betterment of all remaining stages. Now, supposing if you want to have software for your factory, be it for CRM, be it for SRM, be it for ISCM, you will be in dilemma which software to purchase. There are many to purchase. There are many players in the market. Players are nothing but vendors of the softwares, are called as players of the softwares in the market. I mean, software players in the market. So, which one to purchase? There should be some criteria, no, for evaluation. Those criteria are listed in this slide. Functional performance, integration with other macroprocessors, strength of software firms ecosystem. We'll see one by one. Functional performance provides them with capabilities to create competitive edge. Uh, like if a particular software gives, I mean, functionality point of view, it is very good, state of the art technology it will provide you, very fine, it optimizes both price and supply, please go for it. But at the same time, there should be, it should also be associated with ease of use, user friendliness. People look at it, even if the functionality wise little bit substandard, but more user friendly, people vote for it. So always the software should be user friendly. When it throws errors also, people should be in a position to understand it, analyze it easily. Integration with other macro processes, if functionality wise within the macro process it is very good, but if there is no integration with other processes, it is of no use. So very important. Why? It becomes easier to implement and produce the value. It also provides the benefits of making decisions beyond the scope of the particular stage. Strength of software firms ecosystem. What do you mean by ecosystem? Community of people, a group of people is called ecosystem. Software firms or an ecosystem of an organization. Organization is consisting of number of entities or parts. If you consider them as discrete entities or parts, then it doesn't become a system. If it is to be ecosystem, all these parts have to be interlinked. So interlinked parts of an organization is called as software ecosystem. So when you consider, I mean, organization ecosystem, when you consider software firm, the vendor of the software, the important parts there are software partners with whom you are going to interact, integrators who integrate you and the system, and those who developed it, those who sell it, implement it, all put together. So there should be good rapport between you all. So strong ecosystem means a strong network to provide support both during implementation and down the road. Till sales, people are very good. But once sales is over, people never look at you. What are the problems? They never worry. But even after sales service, we say. So if after sales service is also good, because software point of view, it is very much needed. It is not like any other physical product that is being purchased. So it is the software which needs to function properly, and over a period of time, as and when the changes happen, they may not cope up with that. They keep having the doubts, have to be resolved. So we'll see one by one macro processes. CRM, customer relationship management. So between the manufacturer and the customer, there are few key processes. First of all, order management. It manages customer orders as they flow through an enterprise, and it makes the customer to track his order. Whenever, nowadays it is a trend, whenever a customer places an order, he wants to know what is its status. And it also enables the enterprise to plan and execute order fulfillment. If you simply generate the sales, it is of no use. Fulfilling that properly also matters a lot, because further sales in the future depend on the past sales, how you dealt with. It ties together demand from the customer with the supply from the enterprise and enables visibility of orders throughout the stages. Next key point is call or service center. It is the primary point of contact between company and customers. It helps the customer to place order, suggest a product. You might have seen nowadays when you want to buy a product and when you enter into the website, immediately a window pops up on the right bottom corner, wherein executives say that they are ready to chat, so that they will help you out in picking the right product. What for you're looking at, that's what they ask you. What you are looking for, they will ask you, so that if you have any dilemma about the product, they will help you out in picking the right one. It improves call service center operations by facilitating work done by customer service representatives. Key takeaway is that CRM processes must be integrated with internal operations to optimize supply chain performance. If CRM is good functionality point of view only, it is no use. Easy to use should be there, user friendly it should be. Secondly, it should be easily integrated, can be easily integrated with the ISCM. And nowadays, compared to other two macro processes, CRM is fast growing and largest category of macro process. So, what is this software landscape? Let us just separate out only this term, that is landscape. What is the meaning of landscape? Now, you consider a garden. We call the landscape term is first associated with the garden. Usually in general English we use, like at different levels, if things are arranged height wise maybe or whatever, at different levels if things are arranged, then we call it as landscape. So can be applied to any scenario wherein you have different levels. So CRM softwares, all softwares available in the market can be classified into three levels. So that is why landscape. So these competitors can be divided into three levels, that is best of breed winner, best of breed startup, and ERP player. ERP, enterprise resource planning. So within the enterprise they plan each and everything, then they connect it to outside. So let us see what is this. As far as CRM software is considered, because one software available in the market is strong in one area, so you have to see your factory focuses at what. Siebel Systems is a software vendor in the category best of breed winner. Actually, it got originated, it took its birth in 1990s, but soon after grew fast, and after 2000s struggled against the larger software firms with broader product lines. There was more competition. Faces serious competition from both best of breed startups and, for example, Salesforce.com is a startup company in best of breed category. As well as whenever I say ERP players, understand that SAP and Oracle are coming into that. So that person could not compete with these people who became later powerful because of their strong ecosystem. Now let us focus on internal supply chain management. Includes all processes involved in planning and fulfilling a customer order. Customer order has come in from the CRM. Now we have to fulfill it. You have to plan it, you have to execute it, you have to make few decisions to fulfill that order. What are the key processes? Strategic planning, we already seen in the previous class, network design and supply chain. Demand planning consists of forecasting demand and analyzing the impact of demand management tools such as pricing and promotion. So pricing variation and promotions, how do they impact demand, pattern of demand, that you study here. Supply planning, it takes two inputs. One is demand forecast from demand planning, and the other one facilities available from strategic planning. Based on these inputs, it provides optimal plan to fulfill this demand. So software presents factory planning and inventory planning capabilities. Next key process is fulfillment. executes plan set in above key processes to supply the demand. Plan is there but should be executed, no? This particular key process will do that. It links each order to a specific supply source and means of transportation. So software provides here transportation and warehouse applications. Lastly, field service. It focuses on setting inventory levels for spare parts. After sales service, no? So that is why once the product is sold, there is every chance that some of the parts over a period of time, some of the parts may get uh, because of wear and tear or something like that, may get spoiled, and they come for buying the spare parts. So make it ready. Important takeaway is that ISCM processes must be strongly integrated with CRM and SRM. Otherwise, the investment goes as waste. So once again, here the landscape consists of three competitors: best of breed winner, startup, and ERP players. I already told you, when I say ERP players, the things that should come to your mind is SAP and Oracle. Actually, best of breed winners were I2 Technologies and Managistics, but they built the category basically, showed the power of IT in supply chain management, but over a period of time, these ERP players found the gap in their products, filled it, and they were very successful in popularizing themselves. So they outshined this best of breed players. Coming to the last, SRM software. Many of the things coming here we already seen in sourcing decisions in the previous chapter. You can consider this as just a revision. Focuses on interaction between enterprise and upstream transactions. Key processes are design collaboration. People, that is supplier and manufacturer, work together and design the components so that skills, knowledge of all will be pooled at one place and will be used for a particular work. The software facilitates the joint selection of the components, ease of manufacturability or commonality. Okay. Sourcing is the entire set of business processes required to purchase goods and services. So software in this area assists in the qualification of supplier, means in the qualifying the supplier means training the supplier, developing the supplier, helps in supplier selection, contract management, and supplier evaluation. Negotiation. Once an effective contract is completed between the supplier and the buyer, next they have to set the price and delivery parameters that best match both supplier and buyer. That is coming under negotiation. So the software automates the request for quote. RFQ is called request for quote process and the execution of auctions. Buy is another key process where the actual physical acquisition of the material takes place, and also creation, management, and approval of purchase order. So software automates all these processes, which decreases the cost and time. Time save is very important advantage of this. Supply collaboration. Once agreement is done between the manufacturer and the supplier, further performance can be enhanced by collaborative forecasts, production plans, and inventory levels. So landscape once again consists of three people here, three levels, people of three levels. Agile and Matrix 1 are best of breed design collaboration group. For buying purpose, this is the best of breed firm, Ariba, and as usual ERP players are also there in the market, SAP and Oracle. So this is a block diagram which summarizes all the macro processes. Whenever question is asked on macro processes, you have to draw this block diagram and then explain. Now let us learn something about Transaction Management Foundation, popularly known as TMF. It signifies the evolution, the history of software players and future trends. Actually, this supply chain management kick-started somewhere in 1980s, and in 1990s ERP systems were launched. In the beginning, focus was only on automating the things and then building the transaction management. Only they were focusing on how to automate the transactions so that human intervention is reduced. At the time, SAP continued as the market leader, but there were four more ERP players: Oracle, PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, and BAM. So, five important ERP players you should always know. The real value can only be extracted if decision making is improved in the supply chain. Only automating the transactions, earlier human being was making it, now a machine is making. That is all the difference. But what where the value addition lies, actually not in such kinds of activities. Actually, if some software assists in decision making, for that it's very much needed that within the macro process everything should be optimized. uh, Inter macro processes optimization is also needed, intra as well as inter. That means there should be integration between them, and ultimately it leads to decision making. So most recent growth, that is future trend and current trend, is focusing on decision making. As I already told you, decision making systems are becoming more and more popular. One of the examples could be in your car vehicle. Supposing if something goes wrong, it itself will tell you what error is happening. So this will help you to make some decision. Or a washing machine, if there's a problem in that, it will throw an error saying that so and so error has happened, error 17. You open the catalog, you see what is that error 17, and then for what corrective action to be taken to resolve that error. Okay, so a small version of decision making system. Today you find sophisticated decision making systems. So ERP players have to substitute their product. There was a need to substitute their product with CRM, ISCM, and SRM softwares. Major advantage is that, in the sense that software company will lead the market if its product has automating concept as well as integrating concept and decision making concept. If all these three capabilities are very good, functionality point of view very good, ease of use, that is user friendliness, and then integration capability, and then decision taking capability, giving shortlisting all the decisions possible with the consequences. Ultimately the top management has to take the decision, has to adopt which decision is the best one out of the given ones. So we have come to the end of this session. Thank you for patience hearing. Here are some assignment questions which I have listed. I'll give you the due date. Please answer to them and submit. These questions include both part 1 and part 2. Thank you.